And then I'm gonna share my screen. And we'll begin with the video before I start showing you how to search for literature. Optimize for a video clip, like that. Share. So do you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the video, and I made this last year, so there might be changes to the status of how to, what you can access here, but then I'll update you after the video. Here we go.
Super, thanks.
Hi, my name is Anne Sabo, and I'm the subject specialist in media studies and Nordic studies. And I am going to give you a tour now of the HumSam library that you see here behind me. It's the largest of the University of Oslo libraries. We enter through the carousel doors and then to the right, and you see the circulation desk straight ahead. The bike and the display cases to the right show exhibits. And then we have Stage HumSam to the right. You see the machines to borrow books here to the right. And when we don't have events, there are group tables here on Stage HumSam, Salon HumSam. Here is the machine to return books, and then we have IT support next to it. On this entrance level, we have a section for current journals and newspapers, and we have computers, every other ones that can be used. We have colloquium rooms. There are colloquium rooms on every floor of the library, and you book one with the TP system. There are great lounge areas on this first floor, the entrance floor, or the ground floor. Here's a little bit of the exhibit. The Academic Writing Center is also on this floor in the southeast corner, where you can get help with your paper, your project. They also have a very popular Shut Up and Write event in Zoom. Now we're going to go downstairs where we find these cozy cubicles and more colloquium rooms. And we also have the little Stage HumSam where there are group tables when we don't have events there. And then we have the literature salon here where we feature current fiction and themed exhibits. So this one here to the right on the red wall is about university novels. And then the fiction is through here, our collection of fiction. I'm just going to show you because some people think it's like, what's this? But it's actually, I think, old shelter rooms. And so here you go through and you have fiction, current and old and everything. And then Scandinavian fiction is down to the bottom here, to the left and the right, at the very end. It's well marked. So on the second floor we have the Learning Oasis, where we usually have library courses, but now because of COVID-19 we can't. Here you see study spaces. You book these also in the TP system. They're marked which ones you can't use, and they have numbers, and they are like assigned according to color zone, so it's easy to find. On the second floor we have the media studies collection coming from a social science perspective. Beautiful views here. On the third floor we have the media studies collection from a humanities aesthetic perspective, and the literature, the books that we have, is classified and shelved according to the Dewey system, so you will find books set up according to their categories. Here's an example of a printer. You use the printer with your student ID in these cubicles on every floor. Remember to wipe off with the anti-bac before and after use. Your student card is also your borrowing card.
All right, so that's the tour of the library. So the only updates I have is that, well, of course, the current exhibit on the ground floor has changed. It's now about students in former times. Is really neat, the pictures and the artifacts that they have collected. And the IT support on the ground floor, that has not been open during the pandemic, but you can contact them via email and phone. I'm going to share my screen again. I have made a course page for this course where I have gathered like important tools. I can put this in the chat and also send it to you, Stefan, for you to share. So here's basically like a program of the course that we have today. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So here, this is the link to the video tour. And here, if you click here, you get how you get IT support. So there's the phone number, and there's also a chat, a live chat every day. And here's the link for how to reserve study spaces in colloquium rooms in the TP system. So that's still the same. And also the Learning Oasis now on the second floor is open, and you can actually sit there and study when we don't have classes in there. So now we're going to move on to the next segment of how to search for literature using Uria, which is our library's catalog and discovery tool, and databases that are relevant to media studies. And I'll show you also a little bit about how Google Scholar and Google can be relevant, and if we have time, how to search for literature in relevant journals and open access archives. And here are some more tools. Here are some more video guides and tutorials at the bottom. And if we can get time, I'll talk about using these reference tools. But this plugin in particular is helpful for you to access literature, whether you're on campus or not. So I'll talk about that. But first, I'm going to just do a quick poll.
Anna?
Yep.
Before we go move on with that, and that is lovely, but I'm sure that a lot of people, including me, don't know what the TP system is.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to just show that real quick?
Yeah, that would be lovely, because I can imagine that there are a couple of people who would love to book one of
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, that's the most popular. Well, I mean, this building is the most popular place to study, you know, and I can see why, because it's absolutely beautiful, just even on the ground floor where there's more life and activity. And then it gets quieter the higher up you get. So here you click on this link, study areas and group study rooms in the library, and then booking study seats or colloquium rooms. You can serve them, make it if you want an individual space or room. So I don't know why it's called TP room booking, but that's what it's called. So I'll click on that and I log in with my username and password. And see here, I can do a room booking or a seat booking. So let's say I want to book a seat. I can see if there's anything available this afternoon at 3, and I want to stay there till 5. That's today. Building. Well, I can choose all buildings, or if I want to be in this building, let's see. Oh, which is Georg Sverdrup's hus. I think I'll just do default. And then I'll click here, show available rooms. Let's see how that works. Okay, so here I get the options. I can be by the, oh, so it's in Norwegian. I wonder if I can get this in English. Oh, yeah, it looks like I can change the language here. Then I do the search again.
Now you have all buildings.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, okay. There. And now it changed here. I can go back. Let's see. Well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's just gathering the results, retrieving.
Super.
So here you can see places in the room require confirmation. Oh, now did I actually get a room? Oh, yeah, because I changed the language, I got room booking. But see, now I have reserved, I can choose from one of these rooms, and I have to stick with what I choose, what I select. And it looks like it will require confirmation via QR code. So let me try just doing a seat booking. from 2 to 4, Georg Sardepsus. So leseplatser, 3rd floor by the stair towers, number 1. If you don't understand, if you need help finding this, you can ask in the at the front desk on the ground floor when you get there. But we can also click on this. Let's see. Here's the map. Oh, it doesn't really go into. But let me just book that and see what happens. Confirm booking from 2 hours today. And I can't use anything else. Again, now it doesn't give more English than that. Does that seem pretty straightforward?
Yeah. But it was also good to see like the limitations of that like at least like everybody needs to know that the library is called Georg Sardepsus, for example, stuff like that. But it's always good to have seen it being done once, so that you know at least like where to click, click off what to know. Yep. Very much. Great.
Yeah. Are there any questions to that? Was that no? Okay, you're good. Good. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I was going to do the poll. Launch. So just curious about your past experiences with literature searches. And you can click multiple. Great. I think everyone's answered. And the poll. Share the results. So now you can see the results. Yeah, so it looks like a lot of you are familiar using Google, some Google Scholar, fewer library catalog or browsing some library shelves, bookstore shelves less, professor's recommendations is up there. And quite a few of you have been searching, looking at bibliographies and databases. So that's good. I'm curious about what kind of bibliographies and databases you've been looking at, if it's digitized bibliographies or bibliographies at the end of an article or a book, or is it bibliographies that are published as a database at a computer or online? Anyone want to share? Quite a few of you actually, so stop sharing.
I mean, making a start here, like I always, like if I am looking for something that I know too little of, and I find one article that I think is right on the money, then I'm completely looting the bibliography.
And that's really, really good advice, I think, because then you know that if that article is good, that scholar has done good work, which is based on good research, and then that is a gold mine. So I think that's an excellent point, and that's a really great way of doing literature searches in the humanities, is looking at what other great scholars have done, but then how do you find that one great piece that will lead you onward, right? That's the more challenging thing in humanities, I think, is so you have to kind of be creative when you're searching for literature in humanities. And I want to show you just like some pros and cons searching in Google Scholar versus our library's discovery tool and catalog and the databases that we subscribe to. So let's just begin again looking at that. So Uria is just the name of our discovery tool and catalog. And it gives you access to material that we have purchased, books, articles that we subscribe to if they're electronically available, but not everything that we have purchased and that is available. And I explained that a little bit here on the course page. It's because of competition between the provider of this OODA service and other databases like MLA, Modern Languages Association's database, and databases that might be relevant for media studies. I'll show you where you can find those. There's, financial competition, so you have to look in the database, even though you will get access to it through OODA eventually, but in a roundabout way. But OODA is great as a starting point. You can search it at University of Oslo Library or all academic libraries, because you can borrow books and articles from all libraries in Norway and get it from interlibrary borrowing for free. And I will just show you. Let's say we want to just do a search for screen culture. Let me do this a little bigger for you. So first thing, there are like these, we call them, well, there are these standard ways of searching for literature when you're searching in a library catalog or a library database that are called Boolean terms, and it's using these and or not and truncating using the asterisks and closing phrases in a quotation mark. I'm going to try and go through some of all that. Oh, I'm going to sign in for sure. And you need to do that also so that you get access to the electronic literature. So I click on IO student employees. What happened? Sign in. And then log in with my username. That's my username, and here's my password. So now I'm logged in. You can see that up here. And I can also make sure that I have the English language here. So now I got like all of these results. And here we see this is actually a hit on screen culture, but all these hits may not be on the exact phrase screen culture. It could be either screen or culture. But if I close the phrase in quotation mark like this, then I will get hits with screen culture. See, now I have much fewer. And then here is the thing that I like about OODA is that it gives you more information about what kind of literature it is. I especially like these facets here to the right. You can see whether it's an article, a book review, book chapter. You can edit when you want to have, maybe I want more recent literature, refine. And then, if I want, like we were talking about good scholarly literature, like Stefan was saying, like if I find an article that is really great, I'm going to look at the bibliography of that article. So how do I find that really good article on screen culture? Well, for one, I want to limit my search or my findings to peer-reviewed journals. So what is a peer-reviewed journal? Can anyone tell me? So peer-reviewed, if Stefan has written an article that he thinks is really good and he'd like to have it published in a good journal, he submits it to a peer-reviewed journal. And what that means is that before the article is published, the editors of the journal send it out to typically 2 other scholars in the field that review it, and they say, this is great, you should publish it. Or they say, if it tweaks it a little bit or edits it according to our suggestions, we would recommend that it's published. Or they just say, no, you shouldn't publish this. So then it's a way of guaranteeing the quality of the article. But now we got like much fewer results. But so this might be interesting. Let's say I want to see if anything has happened to screen culture during this time of the pandemics. Like, have people been binge watching Netflix all the time? Or is there literature on that? So I'm going to add that as a keyword, and see here it's already the Boolean term and. In some databases, you don't get like the multiple lines, and so we'd have to add the Boolean term up here in the first line, and then the next term. And I'm truncating with this asterisk, so I get all andics like pandemic, pandaminion. I don't know if that's a term, or like all the ... Like, so truncation means, think of the tree trunks and you get like the tree trunk, but all the branches also. Like if I want to do feminist studies or feminism, or, then I can do this femi and then asterisk, and I will get all the other endings as well. So let me just see what I find here, if there's anything. Screen culture, online auctions, and art market spectrum. This article examines the symbolic, financial, and visual qualities of spectacular multi-site online art auctions staged during the pandemic. Pandemic television. I'm going to look at what that means. So I'm going to click on this post. And sometimes there's a longer abstract or like summary than only this, and more keywords. There's not much here, but it's available online, so I can start, browsing it. Or if I want to go back to this later, because now I want to just look at more findings for y'all. I'm gonna put this.
That looks like a great article, by the way.
Thanks. Yeah, good.
And Negra is also a really good scholar, so I'll write that one down. Thanks.
Good. And it's in a good journal. But then I'm gonna, like we want to go back to this, I'm gonna add this item to my favorites. And I'm gonna show you afterwards where that all takes me, because I can click here then later afterwards. But let's see if there's anything else I want to look at. So what's this? Is this anything interesting? It doesn't really say. Understanding younger usage behavior in the television streaming age. I don't really see anything about pandemic, but it could be it could be because it's current times. It could be something in the article. So here you see more of a summary for this article. So maybe I want to just save that for later also. Now, if I oh, good, let's see.
I have a question.
Yep.
Can you save them directly from the search page instead of just like open them in like directly on that page? Can you save them
From here?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I could also click here.
Oh yeah, I see now. Yeah.
So I'm going to add that item. So now I can go into my favorites and show you what happens here. So I'm clicking on this, my favorites. I have a lot here now. But what I like about that is that, so here were the ones that I saved now. There were these 3. And I'm going to add a label. Add new label, screen, culture, and pandemics. Like that. And then that should end up here. Yep. So then I have, like, these are research projects that I have or that I've been, advising students on. And it's great because then, at first when you're looking for literature, you might do like, browse lots of stuff. And then it's nice to have it somewhere so that you can go back here later. So now let's say I want to look at this pandemic television. I have more time. Clicking on the post. I'm going to click to read the article. Oh, see, now I'm getting this because I have this plugin. But here is the article, and I should be able to download it as well. Print share.
That's a very short one, right?
Say again?
That's a very short one.
Yeah, it's a very short one.
Introduction to a special issue or something.
But it's so yeah, exactly. It's not really good. It's not like academic article really. Let's look at this one. Sage Premiere. See, this is now I have lots of plugins here. Here I can click here to download the PDF. I click on that, and here it is. And I click here again, download it, and now it's in my downloads. I can give it a better, name. Z screen culture. So are you familiar with reference management tools? I was thinking I could talk about that at the end a little bit, but I have it linked to the course page so that if we don't have time for it. EndNote is a reference tool management system that UIO pays for, so you have access to it while you're a UIO user. But then there are these open access tools also. It's a way of just, you know, I showed you in Udia how you can save your findings in your favorites, and you have, you know, then the reference and the full text. But if you're finding literature, say in Google Scholar or a database or in Udia, and you want to have it all in one place, it's great to use a reference management tools like EndNote or Soteris. It's just like an app, you know, and I have links to the apps, and you're an app savvy generation. So I think it's pretty easy to get started. There's information about how to get started here. And when you get the plugins for that too, it's just great for when you get to an article, like say here, I have the EndNote plugin here. And I can get it straight into my EndNote locker. Then also it's here. Oh, it should be here. Oh, recent, just added. Oh yeah, here it is. Here am I, and then I have the EndNote library. So if there's time, or I can come back and talk more about that later. So that's, let's do a new search. Should I try a search for something else here that you're interested in? Stefan, I know you're interested in gaming. Is that right? Or
yeah, gaming culture.
I am though.
say again?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for gaming.
Go for gaming, okay. And I was actually curious because I was thinking about the assignment that you have for this course and how I could maybe do my session with you so that you could get help for that as well. I see that you're supposed to hand in a portfolio at the end of the term. Stefan, what is this? What are the guidelines for what to include in the portfolio? And will the students be doing research for their writing assignments for that to find more literature?
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, the idea. This is Parsi's course, so I hope I'm not saying something wrong. The way that we have structured is that students are expected to use the course literature and build it from there. It includes, however, that people are expected to branch out.
That's great. And how do they select a topic? Is it completely free?
No, there'll be 4 portfolio texts, and each text will be based on a little task, so there'll be four questions that will need to be answered if we're doing it in the same way that we did it last year. 4 questions that follow the path that the course is taking.
Okay. So it could be related to film, photography, gaming.
Actually, yeah, we'll start way before that. We'll start with camera obscura and like screens. So just
okay.
Noise, panoramas, like from the 16th century onwards, even earlier.
So I can do like but now there was interest in searching for gaming, so I can search for gaming. I could also do just gaming, or I can do game culture or game, or maybe game like that. So now I'm using these Boolean terms as well. So I'm searching for gaming or game culture or game. Then I'm searching for anything that's gaming, gamification. Maybe that will be too much actually. Maybe it'll be too broad. I can add that later on if I get too few results and then narrow. So I'll start like this. So that's a lot of results. Here we see, again, like that's something you don't get in Google Scholar. You don't get like information about what, if it's a master thesis, a book, if it's a refereed article or not. I can show you, well, you may be familiar with as well, but so searching here for gaming. See, these are the only facets you get to narrow your findings. But Google Scholar is also excellent. Like, let's say we find an article or a book in Udia or a database that we think looks interesting and great. We can search for it here and then see how much it's been cited. Like like if Stefan finds an article that you were talking about, and you look at the bibliography of that, but then you also want to see who has cited this article that I think is so great, because someone must have done something brilliant with this research. And I want to look at that before I do something with this article, and contribute to the discussion. But let's just go back here first and see if we find, I'm going to then again here, narrow it to peer-reviewed journals, apply filter. It's still a lot of results. So what could be an interesting aspect to gaming? So there was one of you who set out that you were interested. Is there an aspect to gaming that you'd like? Are you interested in gaming and kids, gaming and addiction, gaming and youth culture?
Maybe like about the female role in gaming, like how that is for females.
So okay, I'm so great. This is so great to get the input. So female role. So the thing when you're searching then in Uria and databases as opposed to Google Scholar, because in Google Scholar I could do like gaming and female role, but in Uria and databases you have to kind of narrow it down to keywords, and then you have to find the right keyword.
You could try gender maybe.
Exactly, that's a great keyword. So let's do that. Gaming or game culture and gender. So that narrows it quite a bit. Are there any of these articles? So here are books. Does this look interesting?
Like from, I don't know, like the visualization of the screen sharing is a little bit pixelated now, so I can hardly read.
Oh, of my screen?
Yeah, it's getting better again, but probably this was on my end.
How is it for all of you?
It was the same, but now it's better.
Okay. It could be something with the internet from my office. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was just a little lag, but it's okay.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm just curious if there is a female role. Let's just try that first. So then I get only 298 results. So then, or gender, then we get all these results. Was that too much? But then if we narrow, is there another aspect or something you think is interesting here? I could narrow it to more recent years, maybe 2010.
I thought like the first result, like before you made the last change to the search terms.
Okay.
It's like
that one, the master thesis.
No.
Like without the gender, you mean, Stefan?
Exactly. I think without the gender, that was that. Yeah, what is a true gamer, for example?
Yeah, and that's an article, but it's a peer-reviewed journal, so that looks interesting. Women and men play video games in approximately equal numbers. Despite the similarity, video gaming is still strongly associated with women. This is very interesting. Huh. I have a 13-year-old daughter now who loves gaming, and she got a PC for her birthday. She had like a laptop with Chromebook, and she's on it all the time and using this Discord, chatting with friends in Scotland. And so again, no abstract here, but I'd be curious to take a look at it. But then also, let's see. So this is from 2017. Has this been used by others? I know it's peer reviewed, so I know it's good quality. But if I go to Google Scholar then, and I search for that, and I put it in quotation marks, so I get hits on that exact title, like that. Cited by 228. And that was published only 3 years ago. It's spring, it's a big journal, but that means, this is probably an article you'd want to look at, right? Don't you agree, Stefan?
Yeah.
Yep.
So here it is. And again, since I have the Edno plugin, I get the article available here, but I also have Sotera as a plugin. I have the Salon library plugin. The Lean library plugin is super easy to add to your browser. I recommend the Chrome browser, and then you don't need to worry about the reference tool management like EndNote and Sotera. You just get the plugin so that you get the easy access to articles that are open access that we subscribe to, and those that we don't subscribe to. And it's just a really easy way to get them when you're doing Google Scholar as well, and not just in Uria.
Question.
Yep.
Are those plugins only for Google Chrome?
EndNote and Sotera are not just for Google Chrome, but I recommend Google Chrome as your browser in general. What kind of browser are you on?
Safari.
Safari is also good. The only one I just do not recommend is Internet Explorer. But let me just see open access here. How to get access to open articles. So using the plugins, Lean Library for Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. So you're good with Safari for that one.
Yeah.
And then EndNote, I think is also good for, I just really don't recommend Internet Explorer. I think
Nobody.
Chrome, yeah, okay. So then you should be fine. If you ever have problem using any of these, apps, EndNote or Zotero or the plugins, it's probably your browser, and then just send me a note and we'll figure it out. Or you can just Google it, Google EndNote and Internet Explorer, and you'll find out if there's, or like whatever browser you're using. No problem. So any questions to what we have covered so far? Gonna take a look at you and see if there are question marks on your faces. No. All right, so should we take a look at the databases?
Yeah,
So basically, when you have learned to, become familiar with searching in OODA, searching databases is pretty much the same, using the Boolean terms and finding the keywords, experimenting with keywords, using facets to the right to limit to peer-reviewed journals, if that's what you're looking for, or the time span. It's just the interface really that looks different. And for all of them, whether it's OODA or various databases, what they have in common is that they're not, the interface is not as sexy or user-friendly as Google Scholar, but you will find so much more information about them, and you'll get access, and you can see, more about the publisher, the author, etc. So I'm going to share screen again. So here, this one here again this is the link to OODA. I mean, you can get all of this from the University of Oslo's front page also, but I know that our pages are so terrible to browse through. So that's why I've made this kind of toolkit for you. So this takes you to databases that are relevant to media studies and in our OODA system. But I also have a web page, a subject page for media studies, where I have gathered the most relevant resources for your studies, including the most relevant databases like these. I would also actually add MLA, Modern Languages Association, for you, which is good on, stuff like camera obscura, photography, film, panoramas, all of that. So we can actually take a look, do some search here. I'm going to actually close lots of stuff open. Here's that. Oh, databases. I'm going to see if MLA is even on here. Yeah, it's okay. So MLA is listed as one of the databases in media studies. So let's take a look at that. And you have to be logged on again here with your username and password to get access to the databases. And I'm logged on. So then I'm going to click here. And then click here. So maybe now we should do so see how this looks different. Here you actually don't have the separate lines like we do in Orion, but here you see also they have like the Boolean terms. It's the same in OODA if you clicked on that button. But let's do maybe then a search here for camera obscura. I get 771 hits. I see here that it's an academic journal, but I can limit to peer-reviewed journals here. Updating. And here I can click on the UIO button to see our access to it. Is there anything here that looks interesting right on the top, Stefan, that you might want me to click on? There's something big.
I like the epistemology of the answering machine.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sure whether this has anything to do with.
Oh, if it has anything to do with this, yeah.
But Oh,
I
no.
don't see how this, but camera obscura, oh, it's a
Journal.
source. The source is camera obscura. Or no, a source. So is this a title? Oh, let's see.
It is a journal. Camera obscura is a journal. Here.
Okay.
Right.
So that might not be so relevant to the,
Oh,
but so that takes me also then to, you know, on my course page here, I have, in addition to searching in OODA, databases, Google Scholar, it can be relevant to search in relevant journals. And on the subject page for media studies, again, which should be here again, yeah. If you scroll down here's the top, you have the link to, this was me before shaving my head, databases, new books that we have. And here we have journals. The journals that are peer reviewed on level 2 are harder to get into than the ones on journal level 1. And here you can then look for journals within media studies. So the camera obscura doesn't look like it's listed here, but I can probably look for it. But then I can, you know, do more searches in the journals also. That can sometimes be helpful if you're struggling to find relevant literature, but it's not the easiest place to start. Let's go back to MLA. Maybe I should do a new search here. Let's see what they have on gaming in MLA. How seems playing gender in the world of words. Gaming.
really interesting.
Huh?
These are really interesting articles there.
Which
Right.
ones?
Oh, wait a sec. The Pokemon Go, for example, I thought was like we have some ethnographic methods stuff. Yeah, I mean, depending on what one is interested in. But, you know, it's just fun because I haven't done that in a while. They were just like, you know, let's test out a search word and see what comes up. Now I'm not searching for any, like, I'm not searching for texts that solve a specific research problem, but I just interesting what our little session here brings up. Only there was more time in a day.
Yeah, well, I'd be happy, you know, next time also. Usually I do the library courses a couple of hours because it takes time to go through both the OODA and the databases and the reference tools. So if you have time, I'm happy to come back, or you can come to the Learning Oasis and we can do another session when you're, you know, busy writing your paper, and you can come with your topics and we can do searches together, and you can have time to work by the computers there. You saw that there were computers in the Learning Oasis, so you can do your own literature searches and get help with them.
That's fantastic. Now you said it, so we might.
Yeah, no, I'm really helpful to. I'm really happy to help you, and it's great for me to be of service to you. But I wasn't really super happy with what we found. Is there something else that a keyword or some topic that you're interested in? So what made you interested in enrolling for this program, Screen Cultures? We have gaming. What else are you interested in? Are you like film fans or photography? Yeah, Teresa.
Could you search for digital native or digital immigrant in relation to generations being literate within digital, whatever you like? Because I would say that my daughter is a digital native, whereas I would be a digital immigrant. So if there's anything around that.
If that's like even keywords that are used for literature. See, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, when I was advising master's students in media studies before the summer, like sometimes it's like just searching and searching to find the keywords that I used, you know, and the metadata is sometimes very limited. But then also what's great now is how we search, we also hit results on the titles and the free text, you know, the abstracts and stuff. So that will give, but then let's start, then I'm going to start actually in OODA. So I'm going to go back and start there. Let me just see where I am again. I have to just close them here. So here, go to OODA so I get the advanced searches. So digital native. let's just do a search on that. Debunking the digital native beyond digital apartheid towards digital democracy. Right away, I think this article looks interesting. Of the digital natives, especially problematic both empirical and draw and research. So that's more like in terms of maybe geography, but digital native, something about youth maybe, or generations. So then I can do in parentheses youth or generation. So then it searches for digital native, that exact phrase, and that term or that term. And that would be the same for all databases you search it. Marketing to millennials, reach a large amount of exposure. That was the same than we got before.
Yeah.
Beneath the digital myth, understanding as young people's internet use shapes their experiences of education and work and personal relationships. Their portrayal of digital that kind of looks interesting.
That looks interesting.
Again, not very much, but I would add that to my favorites and make like a folder for that as well. And that was from 2013.
Yeah, that was when that term was discussed.
Oh yeah.
And I remember, I mean, okay, beyond library search, I remember that my colleague Eli Skugabø here at the department, something really good about it, together with a colleague in Sweden called Göran Bolin.
So that's been cited by 71, and here we got more of an abstract as well, a longer abstract than we got in Uria. And see, isn't that exciting? I mean, I love that stuff. And then you see, and here you see the keywords that's been marked with, that it's been tagged with. So that gives you something you can, go further with. And here you have the article. And then you can, look at who cited by 71. You can click here and then you see those 71 people, articles, books that have cited it. So it's kind of the snowball effect, and you're kind of like, yeah.
It's excellent.
Great. Anyone else want me to do a search on something that you're interested in? Or I'll go back to my course program and see what we can tweak in these last 8 minutes.
If nobody else is having any ideas at the moment, and I know this effect of like, we had yesterday the seminar where Tim was asking everybody, okay, name one film with a female lead. And I was so glad that I didn't have to contribute because I'm absolutely blank. And that kind of effect of like being put on the spot. However, if nobody else has an idea at the moment, how about going back to gaming plus feminism? That I would be interested. That would be something that.
All right, so now I'm back in Uria. I'm gonna click clear, gaming and feminism.
Yeah. Then probably like femi truncated.
So doing feminism now, we saw we got 2,289, and then when I truncate it like this, I should get, or maybe should I even do femini or femin?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It goes up to 7,529. Woke gaming, digital challenges, depression, and social. 2018. Let's check it out, and then I can click on it, and I can see, who published it. University of Washington Press, so it's a university press.
Yeah.
That's where I got my PhD at University of Washington.
Right.
And here's the, probably the chapter of contents.
Oh, is it David Leonard? Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah. And so here, okay, so this is great because now, in the video I talked about how we shelf our books according to the Dewey system. So I know that this would be on the 3rd floor because it's the humanities, but you can even click here on the locate button. And you see, here are the stairs we get up. Here are the windows. This is the facing down to the fjord. My office is actually kind of like here. So you can find it here. And then I recommend, again, as I said, have been saying, like, to click to tag that with your, so that you have it in your favorites, so that when you get to the library and you can open Uria on your smartphone and find your favorites there, because then you get the live status of the book, as opposed to when you take a screenshot, because the book could be checked out by the time you get to the library, or it could be returned, or whatever. So this now says that it's on loan until August 23rd. But then if I were you and I wanted to borrow it, I would click request. And then you choose your pickup location. I would do HumSam library. So that's the humanities social sciences library. That's this library, and the HumSam library is in the Georg Sverdrup's hus. When we did the TP system, because the Georg Sverdrup's hus is bigger than the library because it also has the best coffee shop on campus and some auditoriums and stuff like that. So then I would highlight for that and then request. I'm not going to do that now. And then you get an SMS when you can check out the book. And here though, but if I wanted more information about the book than just this chapter of content, before I make the long way to campus to pick up the book, I would copy. So we've looked at Google Scholar, but we haven't looked at Google, but now I'm going to Google that title and hopefully find it like in Amazon, because often how they have this preview, look inside. I love that, because then I can maybe get more of a better sense if this is something that I'm interested in looking at. Any questions to that?
I just saw it was also Jstor came up there. If you go back from here,
to the book.
Back in the day, we were using that a lot, at least on humanities.
Oh, as one of the databases?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that would, and so we can make Jstor wasn't here, but it's probably then all of the databases.
It came up when you when you clicked that Amazon, it actually came up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, here. So here, if I click on the library course page, this link here goes to all of these.
All the databases.
But whereas this one, these ones, they go just to
the library.
To those that I have selected here. So fewer, but I think this one also goes to the longer one. Yeah, it does. Like here. So then if I want to do Jstor, so now this is another database, and you see the interface is a little different, but I can click also here on advanced search, then maybe it looks a little bit more similar. Okay, so yeah, here again we have two lines at least. So what was I was doing gaming? Was I just doing gaming and feminism? Was that what I was? Do you remember? Yeah, like that, or I could do gaming and feminism like that. 1,200 between feminism and femininity. Actually, it's about ethics and feminist criticism, where white feminism and Gamergate converge. An analysis of gender and sexuality performance in digital games. And again, here we have the facets to the left here. Journals, research reports. I don't see peer reviewed right away.
I think Jstor is only peer-reviewed stuff, or at least it's only academic stuff. So
right,
it's all peer-reviewed.
It looks like it from what I can tell of this article. So if I again. Oh, and then I see that I have the UIO access. I can download the PDF here. Here's the abstract, author information. Here's the bibliography right away, which might, is a way then of seeing what this author has based her research on. Or is it his? Killian is a man's name. Yeah. So it's, it's really valuable to search in all the different databases because they don't all include the same. So if you're going to do a thorough literature review to cover all the research that's been done on gaming and feminism, I would search Uria. I would do Google Scholar. I would do, all of those databases that seem relevant here from this list of databases and media studies that we subscribe to, and look at bibliographies of the relevant or the good articles and books that you come across. If it's a book that's published by a university press, that we saw one of them that we looked up in Amazon. If you're not familiar with the publisher, I would look for more information about the book's publisher and the author. Is it a renowned scholar in the field? Okay, so we've gone through this, some of that I touched on. We didn't have time to look at these open access archives. Do is where you will publish your thesis eventually. Open access according to UIO policy, and it can be helpful to look at what other screen culture students have written in the past. And Nora is the archive for all the universities in Norway, from University of Bergen and Trondheim and Tromsø and all that. Here's a direct link for that plugin that I recommended to get open access and easy access to all of the articles that you get access to because University of Oslo pays for. You just log in saying that you belong to University of Oslo as an institution, and then your name, etc., and email address. Here, when you're writing, is more information about the reference style to use. Just some things to think about when you're assessing literature, but we already talked about that in this course. It's the article peer reviewed, it's the book published by a reputable publisher. And here's a link to some more of my video guides and tutorials and video guides from Search and Write on how to search with keywords and Boolean terms, the and or not, searching in databases that we've looked at. But for review, these are short videos, like 4 or 5 minutes. And then I just wanted to do like a Google poll at the very end, unless there are some questions. I know you're probably tired now, even though it's just like an hour, you're kind of zoomed out. It's a lot to take in. But as I said, I'm happy to have you come to the Oasis, like maybe in October, end of October, when you're writing for your portfolio, and we can set it up and we have more time, and then you don't have to think on the spot. You can be there with an assignment that you want to search for literature, and you can ask me, and Stefan and I can walk around in the Oasis and help you with your searches, and you can save them. And because literature searches are so beneficial for the writing process. First to get started, what do I want to write about? I know I'm interested in something with gaming and feminism, but then you want to find what's the dialogue, what's the conversation among the scholars on this field, and then you find literature about that, and then you kind of, oh, that sounds interesting, or that sounds kind of weird, or and then you begin to kind of maybe agree or disagree, or yeah, I agree, but I want to add this to my argument. So really, positioning yourself within the literature is how you get going with your writing. It's like when we're talking, right? You kind of come up with ideas in response to what your colleagues or peers are saying, if you agree with it or not. So I think my polling is really kind of about what you'd like to learn next time we meet. But yeah, here. So now, and see, I wonder if I then, oh yeah, here, okay. So I have one poll that's like course feedback, and then one what to learn about next time. I'll just do them in this order.
Right.
So course feedback.
Yeah, okay. Now I've also participated in this.
That's great, Stefan. This is really helpful for me. I always want to improve to make the course experience better for you all, and so that I can teach you as best as I can.
Thanks very much.
And it is great to see you. And I'm glad to see so many faces and not just a few black boxes. And I know some people don't have cameras as well. And sometimes it's just like you want to just not have your camera on, but it's really great to see you all. So 11 people out of 12. Okay, so I'm gonna end the poll and share the results so you can see. So Uria and databases. And we didn't really have much time for that either. But I'm glad you found the Odian, the databases, or like the difference between Google Scholar and Odian database. Because I agree, it's really seeing the contrast between Odian, Google Scholar, and database, what you can find the different places. And then let's see if I can do the final poll, what to learn about next time. I think really what will be great is for you to work on your searches, but that's just, I don't even know if that's an option here, but it should be like a workshop for you.
Oh yeah, here we only have one option, right?
Oh, do you? Sorry, I meant to have that as a multiple. Is it not? It's just one single question?
You can one option.
Okay. Sorry about that. I meant to do multiple. I thought I did that in the settings.
Yeah, okay, but then we all pick our favorite.
Yeah. Or you can even just tell me now, you know. But I think, yeah, go ahead, Teresa. You sound like, looked like you wanted to say something.
More or less everything.
Yeah, okay. Good.
You know,
how about you, Barbara and Adam?
Yeah, no, I think all of them are great. I would like to hear more on all of them for sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
So,
I would also be especially interested in text mining.
Yeah.
Because I didn't try that before.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Anyone else who want to do a shout out or put something in the chat? Or just email me. But, you know, as I said, I'm really, really happy to come back. I mean, that's Stefan, and we can, so just set up the time. But I will send you after the course then a link to this, to the recording of this session we had together, and the link for that course page, the program page where you have all the links and everything.
Okay.
Oh, end poll, and I can share results. But as you said, that was kind of difficult. I'm really sorry that ended up being single question.
But they're already they're coming up a couple of other things that I think will become more important the further we get into the process of developing our MA projects. And this is something that that just to say it, this, like, for example, like privacy protection, to kind of, like, you know, identify the projects that will need to be run by NSD, which is the National Scientific Data Clearinghouse. We will do with you, and we usually don't use Anne for those questions. We also have workshops here, but it's actually good to see, Anne, that you also have, like, that you're also offering.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the University of Oslo Library, we all in the Digital Scholarship Center, I'm sure Katarina Huben maybe has been in contact with them, but it's really important that we're all available to teach the students and educate ourselves about the, you know, the new GDPR regulations and what kind of studies need to be submitted to NSD, and with text mining also, what are the privacy rights issues and all that. Because, you know, the idea is, like, now with open, and we've seen that during the pandemic, right, that we want research to be as openly available as possible. And I loved how some publishers during the pandemic, like, showed this sense of, like, we're going to make as much as we can open science so people can access it, and then eventually close down because they want to make money. But we see that it's important. But then also at the same time, there's that we need to ensure privacy rights, right? We don't want everything that's out there to be openly published. And university, your thesis and your university, as a University of Oslo scholar, you are, according to University of Oslo regulations, supposed to publish open access. But then, you know, you also need to ensure privacy protections. And how do you do them then? So as openly as possible, but as close as necessary is kind of the guidelines we go by, to as close to protect privacy rights issues and all that, but as open access and open science, because we know it's better for the future for everyone to have knowledge and good knowledge. Yeah, so for sure. And text mining also, a lot of exciting new tools now that we have more digital literature available, how we can build corpuses and do more larger analytical text and data mining. And I know for media studies students, that's really interesting to look at larger trends, you know, in newspapers, for instance, how have attitudes changed, or how has attitudes changed in academia to, for instance, privacy rights. Like, how can we look at that? How can we build a big corpus to do text mining on that? So yeah, we'll stay in touch for sure. So Stefan, now it's on to you to book in a session and find something that fits in your calendar. And I look forward to meeting you again and working with you on your projects and really helping you find literatures to help stimulate and grow your research and your writing and make excellent portfolios.
Thanks so much, Anna. Thanks so much. That was really great.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice.
Really lovely presentation. Okay, I'll do two things. I will sound out what kind of demand is for perhaps like a quarter of an hour tour around the library, and otherwise, like around mid to end of October, I will see like if we then come to the Learning Oasis and you give more kind of, you know, specific help with specific literature searches.
Like a workshop-based session.
Thanks so much for the offers.
Great, good. I look forward to it.
Okay, thanks everybody for attending. Good seeing you.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Until soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.